shocking secret revealing how the Nigeria government killed Biafrans in the southeast have been exposed. Some critics claim that the Nigerian media is over-exaggerating insecurity in the southeast, painting it as uninhabitable, while similar crimes in other regions are reported differently. There is allegations that Nigerian security forces, including the military and EFCC, are complicit in kidnappings and killings, using their authority as a cover for criminal activities. They suggest that security operatives kidnap wealthy individuals, demand ransoms, and then kill them to avoid exposure. They revealed that the Nigerian government is responsible for the rise of unknown gunmen in the southeast, using them as a tool for oppression. They claim that the deployment of security forces to the southeast region has led to increased brutality, illegal detentions, and extrajudicial killings rather than reducing crime. They are accusations that the federal government of Nigeria is deliberately persecuting the southeast, continuing historical grievances from the Biafra War. They are belief that political figures, particularly from the APC government, are fueling ethnic tensions and suppressing the southeast for political gains. They allege that people in the southeast face severe consequences for speaking out, unlike in other regions where dissent is tolerated. They talk about cases of injustice, such as individuals from the southeast being jailed for minor offenses, while others from different regions face no consequences for similar or worse actions. There is growing frustration among Biafrans over Nigeria government actions, leading to calls for accountability and unity against perceived oppression. Let me tell you a shocking story, one that might open your eyes to things happening in a part of the world that most of us might not even be aware of. Now, this isn't just any typical news piece or a story you'll find in just any paper. This is something deep. Something that speaks to the heart of many people in a region that has been suffering quietly for a long time. I want to talk to you about the southeastern part of Nigeria, about the people there, and about the terrible things that they've been dealing with. You see, there's been a growing claim that the government of Nigeria over the years has been doing something truly sinister. The accusations are serious. Some say they've been intentionally targeting people from the southeast, especially those who identify with the Biafran cause, a region that was once involved in a brutal civil war decades ago. This is not just hearsay. There are some who say that the government has been involved in killing people from this region, that they've been silencing them in ways that are absolutely chilling. Now, there are critics who argue that the media in Nigeria, especially those based outside the southeast, have been exaggerating the insecurity in the region. They claim that stories of violence, killings, and unrest in the southeast have been sensationalized to create fear, to make people believe that this part of the country is unsafe, uninhabitable even. And while it is true that crime is not something new in any region, the way it is reported seems to suggest that the southeast is a place where one would be risking their life just by stepping foot there. But here's the thing that a lot of people are talking about. You see, while the media might portray this exaggerated version of violence, the truth that some have uncovered is that these acts of violence and crime might not be coming from the usual suspects at all. In fact, there are claims that the Nigerian military and security forces are actually involved in some of these crimes, including kidnappings and even killings. Yes, you heard that right. The people who are supposed to be protecting the citizens, the police, the army, even the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, are allegedly involved in crimes that they should be investigating or preventing. In some cases, these security operatives, as they are called, are reportedly kidnapping wealthy individuals, demanding ransom, and then murdering them to cover their tracks. Imagine that for a second. People who are supposed to be upholding the law are allegedly breaking it in the most heinous ways. It's like they're using their authority and their uniforms as a shield to carry out these criminal activities without fear of punishment. There are also allegations that the government has been fueling a rise in what's being called unknown gunmen in the southeast. These mysterious individuals, who wear masks and commit acts of violence are believed by many to be orchestrated by the government itself. Some say the government has been using these so-called unknown gunmen to instill fear and oppression in the region, a tactic used to further suppress the people of southeast Nigeria. And let me tell you, it's not just about fear, it's about control. It's about silencing anyone who dares to speak up or stand against the government's actions. And what's even more troubling is the response from the government. People who have spoken out, people who have dared to criticize what's going on in the southeast, have faced harsh consequences. It's not like in other regions where people are free to protest or speak their minds. In the southeast, there's a different story. There are people in the southeast who have been jailed for seemingly minor offenses, while others from different regions, even those who have committed more severe crimes, face no punishment at all. It's like the law doesn't apply the same way to everyone. But the most troubling part of all this is the growing frustration among the people of the southeast, particularly the Biafrans. They're angry. They feel like they've been targeted for years. They feel like they've been forgotten by the government and that their cries for justice are falling on deaf ears. And this frustration has led to a call for accountability. The people want to know why they've been treated this way, and they want answers. They're also calling for unity, for solidarity, to stand together and face what they perceive as a grave injustice. Now, to understand this, you need to know a little history. The people of the southeast have been through a lot. They were part of a region called Biafra, which declared independence from Nigeria back in the late 1960s, leading to a brutal civil war. The Biafran War, as it's known, resulted in massive loss of life, with hundreds of thousands of people, most of them civilians, dying from hunger, disease, and the violence of the war itself. That conflict was devastating, and the scars of that war have not healed for many in the southeast. Even though the war ended decades ago, the people of the southeast still feel the impact of that conflict in ways that most outsiders cannot understand. And it's not just about the past. People in the southeast feel like they are still being punished for that war, even today. They feel like the government has never really allowed them to heal, to move forward. Instead, they've been left behind, treated as second-class citizens in their own country. The political leaders in the southeast, they say, have been powerless to bring about any change. And the political figures from other parts of Nigeria, particularly from the north and the southwest, are seen as complicit in keeping the southeast down, in keeping it from flourishing. It's like there's a deliberate attempt to suppress the people of the southeast, to hold them back from achieving their full potential. And when you look at what's happening now, you can see that the situation hasn't improved. The violence, the killings, the kidnappings, they're not just the result of criminal activity. According to many, they are part of a broader plan, a strategy to continue what some see as a campaign of persecution against the people of the southeast. Some even go as far as to say that the current government, led by President Muhammadu Buhari and his party, the All Progressives Congress, is continuing the policies that were put in place during the Civil War, trying to finish what was started in the 1960s. These claims are controversial, of course, but they reflect the deep sense of injustice felt by many in the region. There's also the issue of the so-called unknown gunmen. The rise of these masked men who have been involved in violent acts in the southeast has raised a lot of questions. Some people believe that these unknown gunmen are not some rogue group of rebels, but rather operatives working on behalf of the government. The argument is that the government, in its quest to suppress dissent, has created these gunmen as a way to carry out operations in secret, without taking responsibility for the violence that is happening. The idea is that the government is using these gunmen to attack and kill people in the southeast, while distancing itself from the responsibility. And what's more concerning is the way the government and the military have responded to all of this. There's been no real investigation into the actions of the security forces. No one has been held accountable for the crimes that are allegedly being committed. Instead, the government has gone after those who speak out, labeling them as troublemakers, as enemies of the state. And when people have tried to report these incidents to raise awareness of what's going on, they've been met with silence. The military and the government have not offered any explanations, nor have they acknowledged the suffering that the people of the Southeast are enduring. To make matters worse, the media has been accused of playing a role in all of this. Some believe that the media, particularly those outside the Southeast, have been complicit in spreading misinformation, in amplifying the fear and the panic that has been generated around the region. Instead of reporting on the truth, they've been accused of sensationalizing the situation, portraying the Southeast as a place of constant violence and unrest, when in reality it's not always like that. Yes, there is crime, but it's not as widespread as the media makes it seem. The truth is, the people of the Southeast are caught in the middle of a complex and painful situation. They are struggling to survive in a region that has been ravaged by violence, poverty, and neglect. They are fighting to have their voices heard, to demand justice for the crimes that have been committed against them. And they are trying to heal from the wounds of a war that ended long ago, but whose effects are still felt today. And so, as the situation continues to unfold, many people are asking the same question: what will happen next? Will the government finally take responsibility for what has been happening in the Southeast? Will the people there ever get the justice they deserve? Or will they continue to be ignored, left to suffer in silence while the world turns a blind eye? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: the people of the Southeast are not going to give up. They are going to keep fighting, keep speaking out, and keep demanding accountability. Because for them, this is not just a matter of politics, it's a matter of life and death. So, as the situation in the Southeast continues to worsen, there are a lot of different things at play here. You've got to understand, it's not just the everyday person on the street who's feeling the pressure of these tensions. Even those who are trying to hold on to some semblance of normal life are starting to get swept up in all of this. There's this overwhelming sense of fear, confusion, and hopelessness that's hanging over everyone. No one really knows who they can trust anymore. The government's silence on the issue just adds to the feeling of powerlessness. Many people who live in the Southeast are also facing constant threats from unknown groups. These threats come in various forms, from direct confrontations to even more insidious methods like social media harassment. Imagine being told every day that you're not welcome in your own country. Imagine hearing that your family members are in danger, but there's nowhere to turn for help. It's suffocating, and for many, it feels like no matter what they do, no matter how hard they try, things will never improve. Take, for example, the story of someone like Chika, a mother of 3 who lives in a small village in the southeastern part of Nigeria. Chika's family has lived there for generations, and she's always felt a strong connection to her home. But over the past few years, things have changed. Her husband was kidnapped by a group of armed men who stormed into their village. They demanded a ransom for his release, but before they could receive the money, her husband was found dead. The authorities did nothing. The military, who should have been there to protect the citizens, were either too scared to act or were somehow involved in the crime. Chika was left to pick up the pieces, raise her children on her own, and navigate a system that seemed determined to turn a blind eye to her suffering. Her story is not unique. There are countless others like her, people who have lost loved ones, people who are struggling to survive in a place that has become increasingly hostile. The violence isn't just physical, it's psychological too. The constant fear of what might happen next eats away at you. Will they come for you next? Will your family be next? These are the questions that keep people awake at night. And it's not just the violence that's terrifying, it's the sense of injustice, the feeling that there's nowhere to turn for help. Now, let's talk a little bit more about these unknown gunmen that have been causing so much chaos in the region. For months now, rumors have been swirling that the government has been using these gunmen as a tool to further destabilize the Southeast. While the exact identities of these gunmen remain unclear, one thing is certain. Their actions have been deadly and far-reaching. In several instances, people have reported seeing groups of masked men storming into villages, attacking both military and civilian targets, and then vanishing without a trace.
Start off. What exactly is the situation in Anambra State that has become so heated right now? There are a lot of conspiracy theories surrounding what is going on in that particular region.
I traveled.
Okay.
I traveled on the 22nd, and I came back on the 8th of January.
Okay.
I think the whole insecurity in the southeast and Anambra in particular is being blown out of proportion.
You think so?
Yes, I mean, I'm coming from there. The media is not doing us any good by. I don't know if they are paying the media to destroy the economy of southeast, to raise to put fear in the people from the southeast. A lot of people traveled. I mean, the crimes in the southeast is also something you can find in the southwest or in the north. We've had where people are killed, where you see people carrying human heads in the southwest and stuff like that. I mean, it's not being reported. Southwest is not meant to look as if there's a kind of special insecurity.
There is, become very frequent, especially within Ogun State.
No, exactly, but we see it as normal crime that are being committed by criminals, and all the security agents need to do is to go after this criminal. There's no fear or tension
like
built around it, like it is being built around the south. So I think the media are not reporting it very, very well. They are rather putting a lot of fears in the lives of. I'm not saying that crimes is not going on there, but the way it's being reported as if people should just run away from that region. It's not inhabitable, it's not safe. I mean, we're coming out, it's not as if every day on the street you see these things happen, but once in a while it do happen. And again, also I must say that most of these crimes is the security forces also are very much involved in this insecurity. I can assure you, Esther, if you go to southeast, you have this sense of, I mean, peace all over the place. But whenever you come across the security forces, the police, the military, you can see what EFCC did. Most of these tensions is caused by the military and the security forces. That, I mean, we are helpless. There's nothing.
So you're saying that some of the stories we are seeing, especially about the latest one now, where a young lady who is a banker was kidnapped. The family paid money to the kidnappers, but they killed her. They dumped her on the road. We saw pictures, we saw videos. We also heard of a particular media mogul who owns a radio and television station who was almost killed by the military agents along that axis, if not for the fact that the head of the unit decided to contact the DSS, and that confirmation, otherwise they would have been killed on the spot.
Exactly.
Massive kidnappings, killings, unwarranted killings, and there's even a bounty on those who actually, the last killing that happened, there's a bounty on their head. There is now a special operation unit or security unit by Governor Chukwuma Soludo. All right. So if it was not as intense as you say, then why are these measures to curtail it?
Now, within the people, you know, there is peace. You are walking on the street, you are not seeing mean-looking guys. You see everybody that came home to celebrate, that want to visit relatives. If you enter the vehicle, there is peace. You go on the street, there is peace everywhere.
All right.
Now, look at what happened to this television and radio station owner. He was accosted by the military. Now, if this man were to be traveling with maybe 4 young girls like himself, they will kidnap them, collect ransom, and kill them. I mean, this is clear. This is military. Now, how can you accost people on the road, harass them just like that, and call them IPOB or call them kidnappers? Is that how kidnappers operate? Now, look at this banker. How are we sure the same fate that befell this CEO is not the same fate that befell this young lady? Now, when they kidnap, look, when you see most of this kidnapping and killing, I can assure you security operatives are involved, because if they release them alive, they are going to implicate them. For instance, the CEO that was, if they had After that, they will kidnap them. They will abduct them. Number one, they will come in as military harassing. Of course, you will give in. They do this. Let me say, the security agents in the southeast are now kidnapping and getting involved in so many crimes with as if they were licensed, because they are security. Look at what EFCC did in this young man. Assuming this young man doesn't have a gun, if they end up breaking in, nobody would know who. So with the license of EFCC, they commit crimes. You know, they abduct people, rich men. Once they see a rich man coming around the southeast and they know that this man is a rich man, they will use the opportunity. With their outfit, you cannot resist them. Even people around cannot resist them. Okay? And they will abduct this young man and collect money. And when this young man discovers that, probably through their vehicle or materials you will find in their vehicles, they will collect this ransom and kill them. There's massive crimes in the south is being committed by security operative, by police, by EFCC. Look, one guy was rough-handled by NAVDAC. Is it NAVDAC? Yes. I saw them on the road, and the way they were harassing people and searching. In Lagos? In the east. I was traveling from Nnewi to Anambra. I saw a guy. I don't think they don't cultivate marijuana around southeast. I don't know where you are all over southeast. Where they cultivate this in the southwest. You are not harassing them as much as you are harassing them in the southeast. And I was rough-handled. In fact, I lost one of my nails in the process, because I tried to challenge them. And if you talk in the southeast, if you challenge them, you're as good as dead. They'll be like, it's as if there's a mission. It's as if the federal government poured these people in the south. There's a particular mission. I've said this time without no matter what is going on in the south, there is a mission by the federal government of Nigeria. Because otherwise, we've reported these things and nothing is done. This CEO have you seen the army say anything? Sorry? Or we're investigating. Oh, who did this? No, it doesn't happen. We've reported several occasions, even myself, in the course of trying to cover what is going on in the southeast. I've been harassed. We've reported it, and when you report it, it goes down. They don't say anything about it, and then they will come up and start telling you how they are winning now.
So all these supposed unknown gunmen that have killed people, we don't see their faces, they wear masks. Are we saying that these are state-sponsored persons?
There is no unknown gunmen. The federal government is created the unknown gunmen. The unknown gunmen is simple. Asari Dikibo. How can you, we keep on saying it, how can you engage a militant, pour him in southeast, and then you are looking for unknown gunmen? Is that possible? Now, the federal government and the military are the creators of the unknown gunmen. Remember, before they moved into southeast, there was nothing like gunmen, not to talk of the unknown. They were, in fact, the first time I heard unknown gunmen, I heard it from the military. I read it when the military said unknown gunmen. So they knew the unknown gunmen. Okay, in their desperation to I don't even know how to explain the essence of moving in a militant, arming them in the southeast. And now what did they do? Turning around to arrest our youths, burn our villages in the name of looking for the unknown gunmen. So the unknown gunmen, we've uncovered it. It is the federal government of Nigeria that put in
that's a huge allegation. That's a huge allegation.
Sorry, Dikubo.
Okay.
He's a non-militant. He's a militant from south. Okay. We all know. And then he came to the national TV to say he was engaged. Now, after the federal government moved in the military in a region that has no crime whatever, where there is nothing like crime, all we have was sit at home, and we believe that they said they are sending them there to relax the sit at home. How can they now engage a militant to southeast? And immediately the military, of course, and the militant moved in, we begin to see the unknown government. What else do you want us to say? And the IPOP they are talking about, even IPOP has been around since 2015 till date. We've not seen them carry on, really. They've protested. We've not really seen them carry on. We've not really had an incident where the military had a shootout with IPOP and they arrested some, and they, not just like they do with Boko Haram.
Yes.
They will tell you there's a shootout. They killed 5 militaries. Militaries killed 10 of them and then arrested them. It has never happened in the history of Southeast that there has been a shootout between the military. what we hear is we killed. In fact, they never arrested the military. Now, how are we sure that this IPOB that are being killed is not like the CEO that they are
just waste lives without checking nothing?
Without checking, they just cancel. The program has been on in the Southeast for quite some time now. Killing, instant killing, now kidnapping people and killing and calling. In fact, they disguise in whatever means.
Because there was a research done by Reno Mockery.
I'm coming to in whatever means they can kill. They kill without mercy. And we shouting with there have been several articles accusing the militaries, accusing the security force, and the federal government have not done anything about it. Talking about Reno Mockery, there's a gang up against Southeast. They are using people. They are paid people from the media to attack Southeast from the media, and then they have the soldiers, the militants also in the Southeast. Not only Reno Mockery, even recently. This guy from the West, former Minister of Works, has joined. Fani Kayode has also joined, where he's trying to analyze the coup plotters, and he said 98% of the coup plotters are from the Southeast. But
that's not true.
That's not true. In fact, if I can mention the names of the coup plotters, we have about 7 Igbo, 7 Igbo, then 5 Yoruba people, and then about 5 from the north, and then about some from the Midwest. No Yoruba was killed, but all Easterners, Midwest, and then the East were killed. And now these same people that we believe released that statement are now resurrecting it with also false statements. How does out of 20, how does 7 make up 98% of 20?
Is it basically 14?
7
the top guys were like 14.
7 is not even up to 50% of 20. I have the names of about 20 names, the coup plotters. Only 7. And then talking about the coup, Igbos have no business even conducting coup. If you look
as a result of nepotism, corruption, and all. I had a testimony of a frontline soldier.
Okay, now if you ask me, I think there is a plan against the Southeast. So the government of the day will just look for a way to move it. Now, if you look at that very time, I think we should have a way of communicating with our Southwest brothers. We will say there's North and South. When Buhari was in power, at least there was nepotism, but it carried all the North along.
Yes.
Now this is the South. What is happening? Only Southwest. They are not carrying the rest of the South along. And now that brings the question of the war. How come after the war nobody from the West was killed, even though we have about 5 of them? Who named it Igbo coup? So I think I'm using this opportunity to communicate to our Southwest brothers, mind the way they hit up the politics against the Igbos, actually,
especially on social media. It's become so bad, Lolo. I want to take you back
and also false statements. I mean, if they are making statements of fact, it's a different ballgame, but false statements.
Twisting the narrative.
Now, and then I'm also going to tell them, now I don't want to generalize this. It would be very, very unfair for me to. We have a lot of good Yoruba people, good good statesmen.
Yes.
Somebody like Pa Ayadebanjo, the guy that was just recently released from prison. Wale Soyinka actually went to jail during that war. He protested the war so much so that he was sent to jail for 2 years. So it won't be nice. But I think there are cabals in the north and in the southwest that have this issue with the east. I mean, Pawolowo was one of them. Yes, he has his own cartel that just put the heat on the southeast. Not all Yorubas agree. If you look at his policies,
this thing became more obvious after the 2023 elections, because I've never seen our politics divided.
No, I think the APC government, the APC as a party that was formed by our current president, President Tinubu and Buhari, had a mission to continue the 1966 war. and genocide.
Are you sure?
Yes.
That's a huge, that's a very
in
huge
fact,
allegation.
I stand to be corrected. Let them deny, because they say action speaks louder than words. From 2015, the Igbos were removed from all over the place. No more federal character. All right. Now it becomes worst in this era, and from 2015 there has been killing of the Southeast in the disguise of IPOP. Remember the Operation Python dance?
Yes.
There were a lot of killings during that time. And then remember, as Nig Govt said in his speech, he said he is a very close friend of Bola Tinubu. Their friendship they've been in good friendship for a very long time, according to us. So moving as Nig Govt to Southeast, I'll not be surprised if our current president played a role in it, because he was the APC national leader
at the time.
Now, looking at what is happening in the Southeast right now, him turning away from all the complaints, all the crying, all the offers in the media, the roadblocks, the killing, and the pointing and accusing fingers on the military. He has not done anything about it. The presidency have not reacted. The military, some of them that are very grievous, they will play it down. And also the media is not helping matters at all. Okay, look at this CEO that complained about the military and them wanting to kill him. What has the military said about it? It's dying down. In fact, even the media, look at the EFCC man that was shot. It's all over media. Now, in fact, they are trying to make it an Igbo man kill an Hausa man. Yes. They are trying to make
Lola, let's even look at that critically, because the truth has to be said. If you go on social media, quite a lot of Nigerians, regardless of their tribe, are actually saying no this time around, right? They are criticizing the EFCC. It's just unfortunate that certain persons are taking advantage to make it seem like it's a tribal thing, again, to heat up the polity, and that is so wrong.
Now,
my issue right now, my issue.
Sorry, before you
okay.
Check the tribe that is heating up this polity. Check the people that are trying to change the narrative from EFCC to Igbo man kill an Hausa man that's an EFCC. It will certainly be from our brothers, some of our brothers from the Southwest. And I think Igbos need to rise and meet the leaders of the Southwest to caution them about this heating up the polity, not just heating up, making false statements.
Some of them are even working government officials.
Exactly.
One of them that was suspended from the Lagos state government, I think his name is Ajay or something, the one who wrote that those who actually burnt TVC or whatever were hunted and executed, and then the Lagos state governor actually suspended him. If you go to his social media account, you see statements that are bigotry related. It's quite unfortunate that government officials are meant to promote unity,
and the government will turn their eyes away from it. Look at this chief that was recently released, the chief that, out of frustration after the election, the Lagos state government watched as Igbos were being attacked, killed, their properties burnt. We were helpless. Police were not helping us, the government were not helping us, and the man, out of frustration, said, if you cannot defend us, and he's going to invite IPOP. That's all. That man spent 2 years in jail. But people had made statements worse than this.
A lot.
Somebody
threatened the president's wife and nothing happened.
Exactly. Will not even fight them to invite them for questioning. So that's why I said this very government is trying to revive the 1966 genocide, and it's going on in the Southeast already. In fact, there is a guerrilla war going on in the Southeast. There is a war going on. During the war in 1966,
yes,
there was war in the Southeast, and there were normalcy in the West. And
yes,
they were even enjoying free education. In fact, the way we are listening to what is going on in the Southeast now is the same. So the APC government came in to finish up where they stopped in 1970, but now they want to catch Igbos on a way. They are doing it in guerrilla style, so you won't even understand what is you know what is going on. How can a military that was moved in a place to relax, sit at home, now arrest citizens minding their business, going about their business, arrest them without
prosecution,
shooting at sight, killing them, arrest them, meet them, shoot them? Because I've been telling people, I said, this is true. We read, the military will say, we busted IPOP, we shot, we killed 10 IPOP. Who are these IPOP? Where are they busting them? The CEO is one of those they are busting.
And
probably the banker.
In such incidents, you will not see videos.
Exactly, the banker that was shot and we saw her corpse is also one of them, and so many people that were missing. So there was no insecurity in the southeast, I assure you. But the insecurity in the southeast is been under siege by the security.
So you're saying now that what is currently going on in Anambra State is not as how we see it. I want us to listen to this.
These 2 incidents happened in Anambra now.
Yes, it did happen in Anambra. I want
the EFCC incident and the military is in Anambra.
Yes. I want us to take a listen to this young boy who was also a victim of the EFCC modus operandi, and he was really not happy. Let's just listen to him briefly.
Barely emotional or something. EFCC came to this house. I was not around. It was my brother and his friend that was there around. I traveled. They called my friend and told me about it. EFCC no knock. They don't do anything. They just broke this door, like break into their house, bully people, beat them up, broke some properties. I will show you guys something. See this television like this now? It's EFCC that broke it. Like they broke it and beat the people up. People that were here, they beat them up. Like they destroyed. They were just doing like arm robbers. Now, after everything they did, they took them and took up to other 15 people in this compound along, without any information, without any reason, without any cause, nothing. They searched their phone and they saw nothing, but they took them along. After all the stress and everything I passed through, they came back. Now, yesterday now, armed robbers, they penetrated this house and they operated exactly like EFCC. Like the way EFCC did it, they broke this door, entered this house.
This is the end of our news update. Please click the icon on the top right corner of your screen to watch my next video. You will enjoy it. I will see you again in my next update. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye for now.